Welcome to A Line Through Time, where I take the time to look through your favourite franchises and work out how it all lines up. Stranger of Paradise is good. The story's kinda messy until you reach the end and the pieces fall into place, but once they do, it's an interesting take on the backstory of Final Fantasy I. But this is not the first backstory given to FF1, nor even the first conceived by Tetsuya Nomura. Back in 2008, Square Enix celebrated the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy with Dissidia Final Fantasy, a crossover fighting game with a hero and a villain from each of the first 10 main entries. It was then followed by a prequel, Dissidia Duodecim, in 2011. These two games tell a different backstory to FF1 that is theoretically intended to be canonical, unlike Stranger of Paradise, which appears to be set in its own distinct universe. FF1 is represented by three characters: the Warrior of Light, based on the warrior class from the first game, Garland, the early game antagonist and ultimate mastermind of the events, and Chaos, the powered up form of Garland that serves as the final boss. Chaos and his opposite Cosmos summon warriors to fight each other, with Chaos choosing Garland and other villains, and Cosmos choosing the warrior and other heroes. Except that the reports unlocked in both games reveal that this is not entirely true. So the world of FF1 is known as World A in Dissidia, and the setting of Dissidia is a near mirror of World A known as World B. The story is that Cid of the Lufane, a backstory character from the FF1 GBA remake, helped to create a mannequin, an artificial being, that became Chaos, a living weapon that Cid and his wife raised. Cosmos is actually a mannequin of Cid's wife meant to placate and control Chaos. While trying to help him escape the government's clutches, Cid's wife was killed and Chaos drew himself, Cosmos and Cid through a rift into World B. Here they encountered Shinryu, and Garland was also there somehow, possibly arriving here instead of 2000 years in the past as part of his time loop plot from FF1. Shinryu then began a cycle of conflicts where Chaos and Cosmos must summon warriors to fight, while a disembodied Cid can only observe. Cid creates a mannequin in his own image which becomes the Warrior of Light. His devotion to Cosmos is thus explained as he is based on Cid, whose wife was the basis for Cosmos. So it turns out that only Garland is actually a character from FF1's world, as the other two are new characters original to Dissidia. Well, kinda. The warrior leads Cosmos' other champions to victory over Chaos, and then arrives in World A where the others are returned to their worlds. Without a world of his own to return to, the warrior takes the crystal he received from Cosmos and heads to Cornelia Castle, with the implication being that he will meet three other such warriors and become the four Warriors of Light that will defeat Garland and his Chaos form in the original game. I'm not quite sure how this lines up timeline-wise, since Garland already knows about his time loop and initially believes Dissidia Chaos to be him, and it's also unclear why Garland becomes an exact mirror of Chaos, which would at least make sense if Chaos was his World B counterpart, but both originate in World A, and you can see the issue with letting Nomura handle any kind of backstory because the man seems to go out of his way to make things convoluted, or will implement his story ideas and refuse to address contradictions he creates unless forced to. The funny thing about all this is that this could very well tie into Stranger of Paradise, especially with Nomura handling both stories and having apparently come up with the concept for SOP shortly after Duodecim, possibly intending it to be part of the Dissidia story. SOP already feels like Dissidia with the concept of cycles and memory erasure and being made by the same company as Dissidia NT. Additionally, spoiler alert for the ending of Stranger of Paradise, go here to avoid spoilers, we see the silhouette of a warrior with this exact design coming to confront Garland in the game's ending, and with the revelation that the time loop and Jack Garland becoming Chaos was all part of an elaborate scheme Jack cooked up, his presence in World B could well be part of this plan. I mean, after Duodecim, Garland is left as the only FF1 rep in Dissidia to not have a newly fleshed out backstory, which Stranger of Paradise could certainly work as, assuming Garland's personality deviating from Jack's is a result of either Chaos corruption, or him losing his memory between cycles and being manipulated by other villains. And with the story having apparently been conceived not long after Duodecim, maybe Nomura and Team Ninja will actually go there, with the Warrior's role in Jack's scheme to be explored in the final DLC. Probably not, but things do seem to line up enough on the creative side that it could actually happen. If not, I think the very least we can hope for is a DLC where Jack finally achieves his goal of killing Chaos before it can bring devastation to the world by creating Sonichu. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and support me on Patreon like these fine people here? If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they can suffer along with you. Today's recommended video is Final Fantasy 101 PCP University Lecture by Best Guy Ever. He explains the mainline series up to 15 in a fun, long-winded and informative way not too dissimilar to me, and he's wearing Johnny Cage's MK11 sunglasses while he does it, which is always funny.